this year's our second year for this great event with Epic, and I think it's neat with Lutheran Hillside Village and Epic. Our goals are really in alignment with one another in terms of really helping and being part of this community. Here at Lutheran Hillside, we run a full continuum of care for our seniors. Our mission statement is older adults living life to the fullest, which we practice every day. I think our mission is very clear in our day-to-day activities and very much in line with how our seniors live their lives here. Madeline Smith with Epic did a great job of getting the celebrity chefs involved with this event. Christina, that's coming to town, won the Master Chef competition with Chef Ramsay, so that's not easy. And but it all centers around these competitions and bringing Peoria's talent to light here, and I was very pleased to be a part of that. Good evening and welcome to the second annual Epic Bon Appetit Live Culinary Challenge. We are here at the beautiful Illinois Central College Culinary Arts Center where some of Peoria's talented local chefs will compete to prove they have what it takes to be the top chef of this evening's Epic event. Tonight's challenge will be comprised of a Caribbean theme with a restaurant quality entree being prepared from 4 mystery ingredients. One of those mystery ingredients will be a product compliments of Naturally Yours Grocery here from Peoria, Illinois. Tonight's round 1 chefs will be as follows. Tonight we have Vince Swanson from Cracked Pepper, Salt, and Sugar, Peoria, Illinois.
I wanted to come back to compete because I am a competitor. I think this is a unique challenge. I think it's great for not only an outstanding organization, very proud to be a part of what Epic's done, and felt like last year was a success. I wanted to help them build on that. During the summer, we helped out Epic at their farmers market. We did a couple cooking demonstrations, which again was very nice and been a pleasure to work with.
We have Chef William Barnett from Lutheran Hillside Village.
Hello, my name is Chef William Barnett. I work at Lutheran Hillside Village in the restaurant 6901, which is the independent living setting dining room. What I do here in the kitchen is I am in charge of putting together some menus and in charge of the cooks. We serve our residents as Christ would serve them. I'm really looking forward to this year's competition. Last year was a lot of fun.
And Chef Tony Egan from the Creve Coeur Club of Peoria.
I'm Anthony Egan from the Creve Coeur Club of Peoria. I'm an adjunct instructor here as well, and pork is one of my favorite things in the world. I'd have been in hog heaven if it had been pork tonight.
Ready? Yes. Gentlemen, open your basket.
That coconut will cause a little bit of fun.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of fun.
Oh, good. Just trying to get my bearings here.
Still kind of thinking it through, but I'm going for a type, kind of a snapper tamale type item, dish. And we'll we'll spice them up, give you a little heat.
With a lot of color and a lot of flavor. A little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy, a lot of love.
Obviously the sweet and spicy here. Now I'm just trying to get my fillets ready. I'm gonna get a spice rub and try to work on a stock right now.
Got my zester, so gotta make do with what I got here.
Adds a nice citrus flavor to a lot of items, a lot of Thai cooking, things like that. It's a very familiar ingredient in them.
Yeah, try to pull some flavor out of that snapper. Don't want to waste it. When you pull the mystery basket out and you see that the whole fish, it is not that filleting a fish is that big of a deal, but I think under the circumstances, you gotta kind of take a deep breath and steady the hands just a little bit. What I wanted to do was really represent those flavors from the Caribbean. I mean, it's such a melting pot, a lot of fresh seafood, a lot of fresh fruits, vegetables, as well as different spices throughout. They're using a lot of different cultures. So after filleting the fish, I wanted to utilize the rest of the bones and the carcass and pull that flavor. So I did a fumet with some white wine, the fish bones. I used a lot of Caribbean spices. Used the coconut as well. So then I cooked that down and made a nice citrusy coconut seafood broth. Then I did a red and white quinoa pilaf. Then a salsa utilizing the citrus, the avocados, the blood oranges, the pineapple, the shaved fresh coconut. Again, with the spices, I use a little bit of curry flavors with those and some cane sugar, kind of a little bit of sweet and spicy. So that was kind of the theme throughout, was just the balance of the sweet and spicy, but not losing the flavor of the fish.
The hardest part I had, I think, was the coconut, just to get it broken open and get it ready to go. Tonight, I had made a tamale, a red snapper with Caribbean jerk, marinated Caribbean jerk. It was grilled. It also was made with quinoa that was cooked with coconut, lemongrass, and some tomato. Then also it had a citrus and poblano sauce with blood orange, poblano peppers, a little chipotle pepper, and a little bit of fish stock. Then it was topped with a pineapple and daikon radish salsa that was made with poblanos and chipotle, fresh grilled pineapple, red pepper, cilantro, salt, pepper, and daikon radish. Well, I don't know. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I'm a little nervous actually. Quinoa, I'm going to use it as part of the base for the kind of the filling for the tamale with the fish on top. It's got some citrus in it and some shallots, some garlic. Well, actually, I think the plantain and the coconut was more of a challenge for me today than the quinoa was. But that's okay. Taking it off because this is real fibrous and real tough if you try to bite into it. It's almost like eating the shell. Well, it's getting there. It's not quite ready yet. It's getting close though. Basically, I made a Jamaican jerk rub.
Today I made a Caribbean red sunset snapper. It had a blood orange compound butter on top of it. I made some quinoa. Quinoa had the coconut milk in it, the coconut water actually. It had some bok choy and some red pepper in it. On my fish, I used a Caribbean jerk seasoning. I used some agave because the red snapper it has such a good flavor. I didn't want it to dull it down with any seasonings, too much seasoning. And then I made a mango puree. In the mango puree, I put some rum, and butter, and I put some agave in with that too. And I had a lot of fun with this. I did it last year also. What was different about this year than last year was last year we were shown what we were getting. This year it was a surprise basket. We had the coconut, we had to clean our fish, we had to incorporate the 4 ingredients we had, which was the coconut, the plantain, the red snapper, and the quinoa.
And the quinoa you're using tonight, both varieties are complements of Naturally Yours Grocery, Peoria, Illinois. It's a wonderful ingredient. If you've never been to that store, you should definitely check it out. It's wonderful. It's very busy, so keep that in mind when you go. It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's judges. Tonight's judges are Kim Cornwell, CEO and guiding inspiration of Epic. Gordon Ontiveros of Naturally Yours, Peoria, Illinois, whose personal goal is to become a life coach and team leader in community events and advocate for healthy life choices. Pamela Krager. Pamela was in the food and events industry for over 20 years and is currently an advocate for people with disabilities and a friend and former board member for Epic.
So it's pretty flavorful. I think it'll all pull everything together.
Well, once you get started.
You left you crisp the skin up?
Yes.
Very good.
Actually, the skin is a little bit of a delicacy, so I try to get the crispiness of that.
Cooking everything, throwing a little bit of everything. You're throwing
Well, it's the chef's job to make sure you utilize as much as you can.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I use the rest of the fish, the leftover fish, ginger.
Nice, it doesn't overwhelm
Yeah.
the sweetness from the other.
Have you tried it yet?
Oh, is that good?
Yeah, I wanted to get the crispiness. Add a
And so you said the skin sometimes is a delicacy?
I wanted to know if there was a take-home box.
To go.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a $2 charge for that, ma'am.
Yep, that's what's well worth.
What do you call it? It's like a sweet salsa?
And what you have before you is a grilled snapper. You have two kinds of plantains. You have a butter poached with a light lemon zest, and you have a crunchy plantain. You have a couscous, which has the of a mango puree.
Did you cook this for, tell me how you prepared this.
Quinoa it's a steeped. You steep it. It's like rice. You boil it until it's done. Regular sugar, rice wine vinegar, salt and pepper. With the snapper, it's so sweet. You know, I just didn't want to overpower.
What was the sauce you said you put on top of them?
Sauce was a blood orange and agave compound butter. Sweet and yet spicy. I just didn't want either one to overpower the other. And the snapper's so it's a beautiful fish.
So I kind of made a deconstructed tamale with quinoa's underneath, with a roasted pineapple seasoning on it, and then it's topped with a salsa made with daikon radish, roasted pineapple, red bell pepper, chipotle chilies. It's got a little heat to it all the way through the whole thing. It's a little spicy. It has some blood orange, some citrus, and some lime juice, salt, pepper, a little bit of lemongrass, and a little bit of coconut milk.
Nice mix of flavors.
It's more of the
Very nice.
milder part of the whole dish as you go through it, because they're trying to cool off some of the heat.
Okay.
There's actually the quinoa, then there's another sauce on top of the quinoa, and that has grilled pineapple in it, and rum, and coconut milk, the water out of the coconut,
Sure.
and grated coconut. I thought that would add a nice little cooling, little sweet. Yep.
I like the two different kinds of sauces you have with the quinoa. That's good.
And they all kind of work together as one once you get into the whole thing and get it into your mouth.
And you said your idea was street food?
Street food.
Love it.
So have you been
Popular.
to anywhere recently where you've had some street food?
No.
Okay, cool. Well, it
I watch
tastes
it on
great.
TV.
We need more street food in Peoria.
Yeah, we do.
Chefs, very tough decision. Very, very tough. You all did very well, and I want to thank you all for being a part of the 2014 Epic Bon Appetit Live Cooking Challenge. Your expertise really brings a lot to the table, so to speak, tonight, and helps out the ministry in a very positive way. What you've done tonight goes out to help a lot of people in the community, so we really appreciate that effort. Changes, and that was good though, but I want to give you the final results. Our esteemed panel of judges have made their final decision, and actually we have a tie for second place. Chef Egan and Chef William, both tied for second place. Vince, you are the champion tonight.
Definitely had a couple strong competitors. They put out some nice dishes as well. I think when you're glancing over and you see some nice dishes start to come together, that ups your focus a little bit.
I work at Lutheran Hillside Village. I work in one of their specific cafes. I work in Wallflowers. I'm their chef there. Our Wallflowers is more of a fresh, healthy approach to things. We tend to bring an array of different items. We have a lot of Southwestern themes as well. We have some real traditional Midwestern stuff. We try to keep it as seasonal as we can.
I got my training in the United States Navy, and I was stationed on a guided missile destroyer cooking 375 meals a day for crew members. Here at Kickapoo Creek Winery, we're open for banquets, off-site catering, and we also have a tasting room where we prepare lunches during the course of the week and weekends. So we open 6 days a week for lunch. We can do banquets here for up to 300 people. We do quite a bit of weddings during the course of the summer. So we're really flexible with that, and our packages are divided up into precious stones. So we have a diamond, a ruby, a sapphire, and an emerald package here. The owner of the winery, Rory Connor, is always looking for events for me to compete in. So sometimes it's my own idea, and then sometimes he'll say, hey, I'd love to see you compete in this event.
Hearth Restaurant, coming up with the name was a labor of love. It was a joy. Hearth is a 6-letter word. The first 5 letters are heart, which all of us, everybody pours themselves into this business. It's a real family affair in many respects. The last 5 letters of Hearth are earth, which we try to honor with the foods that we serve. All of our proteins are antibiotic and hormone free. I like to support local farmers whenever we can. And art is right in the middle, A-R-T. And we have local artists featured, whether it's photography, ceramics, hand-blown glass. So featuring local is the thing we try to do most. Local farms first, we say.
My name's Dustin Allen, executive chef and owner of Edge by Chef Dustin Allen in Peoria. We don't use recipes. We don't have a recipe book at all in our restaurant because we don't know what it's going to be that day. We do 6 to 7 different menu items a night. What you see today could be completely gone tomorrow, just depending on what's available to us. Our style, it's art, just as it is for a painter on canvas or a photographer. We speak to our guests through the plates of food. You can tell that day what kind of mood we're in. If it's a little spicy, we got that little edgy, fiery side to us. That's how we show our emotions, through food, and it is in the creation on a plate. So it's so it's a lot of fun. The event last year was a blast. It was great to be with chefs from the area, one for a great cause. Sharpen the knives, let's go.
Tonight's challenge will be a dessert challenge inspired by a beautiful piece of jewelry presented by Bremer Jewelry. The chefs will have 1 hour to find their inspiration and present their dessert that is inspired by this beautiful piece of art. These desserts tonight will not only be judged on their uniqueness, but how the chefs translate their inspiration from art to food. All of your desserts must contain one ingredient, and that ingredient is bourbon.
It's made with pink gold, and it's made with white diamonds. And then there's a process whereby they actually heat the metal, and it makes it have that darker kind of brownish gray color. And I think the pink gold is a really nice touch. So if that helps you a little bit about when we talked about creating it, AJ did such a great job for that, and maybe it'll give you a little thought process.
Seconds to need to be at the stations. This is our Pioneer chef over the cage, flowers,
I have no idea what I'm doing tonight. I'm trying to figure it out as I go along. Sure, something nice will come up. I'm not sure yet though.
I'm going to try to do a crepe. If I can remember how to make a crepe, I'm going to try to make a crepe. And if I can do that, I'll do some fruit. And I'm going to try and incorporate the bourbon into a sauce that might resemble an old-fashioned or Manhattan.
We'll figure that out. I'll let you know in an hour.
Well, not exactly. I'm starting to get a picture in my mind, but I'll see how it starts to go.
This is, I believe, tastes real buttery. Tastes kind of like a croissant, so I'm guessing it's brioche. Could be other thing. By the flavor, I'm guessing it's brioche. I made a Napoleon bread pudding with a fruit compote in the middle, and then I went ahead and I made some fresh whipped cream, a little bit of powdered sugar. I kind of blanked out for a minute or so. I was trying to figure out. Bread jumped out right away. The brioche, I really like the flavor of it. It almost tastes kind of like a croissant, so I figured the butteriness and flavor would be perfect for a bread pudding. So I just ran with that. I didn't know what I was doing off the get-go. I just kind of knew I wanted to make a bread pudding, but I didn't know how. The berries that I saw on the table just kind of said use me, so I had to use them. So I just kind of incorporated them in there. Once I started making it, I didn't know how the ovens would be. Some ovens tend to be temperamental, so I just went with something thin. So if it was a cool oven, it would cook either way. I don't want to send out something doughy because I've had that experience in the past and it's never fun. That's when I decided I was going to layer them just so I'd get the volume out of it. A natural butter bourbon sauce was in order for that, and it turned out quite well. So I'm very happy with that.
I mean, as a chef, you have to be creative, be able to put up with tremendous amounts of stress, to be able to think on your feet. You know, those are all the attributes that we have to possess. But to command those attributes at the spur of the moment like that in a controlled situation, you know, is something that it always amazes me how we respond as chefs. Yeah, I want to try and incorporate different things. I mean, to go along with the complexity of the necklace and the art that was donated. A lot of things came together to create that. I mean, you got the unique color of the gold that goes into the necklace, the heat-treated metal that brought out the dark contrast in the metal. So I want to try and add a little bit of that into the dessert. You have a camera in the kitchen with us, and we're in the middle of a huge wedding, and a piece of equipment breaks. That chef probably won't miss a beat. I mean, he'll instinctively go to plan B, and just to make sure that we're able to be successful that evening.
Well, for my dessert, I initially was going to make a crepe, and I was trying to create a dish that looked like the inspiration that was provided for us in the beautiful piece that was provided by Bremer Jewelry. My original intention is to make crepes and fold them into a couple of rectangles, put them together to make an oblong so that it would look like the picture, and I would use the pound cake as ribbons on top like a pan perdu with a little garnish. So if I could just make a crepe! Almost. Come on, baby. Come over. Closest one yet. Yeah, it's the closest one yet. I'm going to let it cook on the other side, see if it tastes any good. If not, I'll go to plan B. But crepes take more time, and I thought I could do it with the amount, but apparently there wasn't enough time, so I had to revert to a plan B. So I did have one in the back of my mind, so it was nice to have something to fall back on, so I wasn't caught at the last minute, but it wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but it kind of didn't matter. I was here for, I think, the right reasons, and I wanted to contribute and to have fun and work with these other chefs and support a great cause, and Epic is certainly all of those things. So had a lot of fun. If I had to do it over again, I would probably practice desserts before I came. It was the last thing on my wish list was dessert, and we had dessert.
We made a peach bread pudding that had a fried Coca-Cola glazed apples with Jim Beam bourbon and a little bit of bourbon whipped cream. So just a real Southern dish. Kind of went back to the roots, of my roots. it just you kind of one of those things, go home and have a little fun. So it was truly a southern dish through and through. So just a lot of fun. Always a nice time to come out and cook with a bunch of other chefs in the area, and for a great cause. So definitely having dessert was a curveball, to say the least. So much for sharpening the knives that we thought we'd have to do is a little different, especially when you're a chef that deals a lot with fishes and and proteins.
Do you see any of the desserts coming together that really kind of jump out at you at this point? Or?
They all look awesome. I don't know. It's going to be
Smells
tough,
good, doesn't
right?
it?
Yeah. I guess this will be dinner.
What a great dinner it'll be.
Yeah.
That's right.
I see a lot of different colors coming together, and that's what's neat about this piece is just the combination of colors and the simple lines,
Right.
which makes this very unique for them because they've got some good plates here to work from.
They do. They do.
But Bremer obviously being one of my favorite stories. So.
Well, thank
we
you.
love that.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
It is my pleasure to introduce tonight's judges. Tonight's judges are Rhonda and Craig Daly, owners of Bremer Jewelry, Peoria's premier showcase of fine jewelry. Executive Chef Graham Mullet from Embassy Suites, East Peoria, Illinois.
Have fun? Yeah, it's a real blast. It's a fun time. I saw the art piece, and I saw that the redness and the blues came through a lot, the clearness of it. So I took from the colors and I moved from there.
It's also good.
No calories in that at all.
So the Napoleon, did that come to you immediately, or?
No, actually, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I know we're in a limited amount of time, and I didn't want to try to bake a whole deep bread pudding, but I did want to do a bread pudding, so I went ahead and made smaller pieces.
The preparation on the cherries is really nice.
I love that.
Intense flavors.
I like there's a little bit of sour to it. It's
Yeah,
really nice.
That's right. Kind of counterbalances the sweetness.
Judges, I'd like to introduce Chef Dustin from Edge Restaurant. Chef, would you like to explain your dessert to the judges tonight?
In front of you got a peach bread pudding that's got Jim Beam bourbon, a little bit of brown sugar, nutmeg cinnamon with a Coca-Cola bourbon glazed apples, and a little vanilla bean ice cream.
So I loved your inspiration. I understand that.
Coca-Cola, that's Atlanta, Georgia. And then you throw in a little Jim Beam out of Kentucky, and it's time to go. So.
For you, right?
Whipped cream on top, it's got a little bit of Jim Beam in it, a little bit of sugar, just kind of add just a little sweetness again to it. So.
I love his inspiration.
That is, really good.
That should have been topped. With that, I didn't allocate enough time to get that done. So what we do have is a collage of different fruit. On the bottom, we've got pecans, bananas, strawberries, peaches, plums, powdered sugar filling, and then a little whipped topping to help it all go down.
It was interesting with the presentation.
Yeah.
Where did you get that idea?
Another.
With the pound cake specifically, the way that you had that stacked, how did you get that idea?
Playing logs with the kids. So, because 1 minute I'm standing there with 1:18, and I'm like, oh wow, I'll go read a book or something, and the next thing he's 3, 2, 1.
sir. Thank you. Fresh for it.
Imagine, if you will, a beautiful crepe folded in a rectangle, paired side by side to make an oblong feature with the pan perdu on top to resemble the inspirational art that we had today. You'll have to imagine really hard because that isn't what you got. What you got was my plan B. I couldn't get the crepe to take. I couldn't get the batter to chill enough in time to hold together.
That we were talking a little bit over on the side about you were making a crepe batter, and that was one of the concerns that we had talked about, not necessarily in this group, but it was that, is he going to be able to get that chilled in time?
And I'm watching Chris, right? Yes. First chef. I'm watching him. It's like, I'm just watching it because it's fascinating.
Oh, wait, I'm supposed to be doing something. Yeah.
So that did work for us. So we're going to start with fourth place. Fourth place goes to Chef Hugh Higgins. Surprise! Chef Hugh, thank you for tonight.
Pleasure.
Third place goes to Chef Leo. Chef Leo, thank you. Second place goes to Chef Dustin. Yeah, thank you, Dustin. First place, Chris Castro, Lutheran Hillside Village.
Nice job, man.
Yeah, I thought this was a great event. It was really fun to watch the chefs perform in a time-based competition. I think they all performed well, and it was just a lot of fun. I mean, we really enjoyed doing this.
I was surprised at how much they were able to accomplish in only an hour and 15 minutes. It was amazing to me. The food was great, of course, and I think they just brought a beautiful inspiration to showcase our pendant and the art from Dominique. So we were really happy to participate. Thank you.
And the chef that won did an absolutely wonderful job. All the chefs put a lot of time in, and it's a great thing to see.
Not freak out. It was the same one as I had this year, this time around. Not freak out. Try to keep a level-headed attitude towards things. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on Friday, and hopefully it turns out for the best. Vince, it'll be fun to go up against him. It'll be a good challenge.
Today's competition brings only two chefs left, Chris Castro and Vince Swanson. Both of you are going to battle it out today, and today's theme, gentlemen, is America. Today we will celebrate America with the All-American Burger. You'll have 45 minutes to complete your challenge. We have a twist today, too. You won't be cooking. Today we've assigned two students, very talented ICC chefs, coming together today with you. We will assign each of you a sous chef, if you will. And it starts now. All the chopping, all the preparations, all the tasting has to be done by the student. And I think the key here is to really communicate the vision, communicate the flavors, what they can expect to taste, what they know. 45 seconds. Remember, you can go back to the
Got all the confidence in the world in this guy. Look at him. No worries right here. We've got 4 restaurants, so this is pretty much every day. No pressure, but there might be another spot in one of those restaurants if he can take care of business here.
a little antsy with my hands. I'm used to having my hands in there, so it's kind of odd not being able to touch stuff. I'm not looking to get wrong with that. It was very difficult right off the get-go to find myself in a position of delegation rather than hands-on. But after a few minutes of adjusting, I became more comfortable with it. I was very glad with Kristen and what she did. She did a great job. As I told her what I wanted, she executed it perfectly, so that was really, really nice.
Chris was really nervous. He was really hesitant to like hand over the reins, and he says that he didn't really like to, and he felt like he was overstepping everything and like not doing a good job, but I think he actually did a really good job portraying it, and I think that helps them back in their jobs to maybe communicate better in their work.
I took a southwestern approach. I went for my more native roots with it. Growing up, I lived in California, and incorporating the seasoning into the actual meat is a big thing, marinating. There wasn't any beer, otherwise you would have seen me putting some beer into it. But that's the kind of feel that I grew up with and the flavors that I enjoy, so that's what I took out of it. I love guacamole, and I think a lot of people do, so I decided to put some guacamole on there. The same thing, bacon, it's a great thing from the Midwest. Everybody loves it. Some people call it America's candy, so that was definitely awesome. I went ahead and added that on there with a little bit of a salty contrast. It worked out real well for the burger.
Hardest part for me was probably, I was coming into this competition not knowing even who Chris was. I didn't know how he worked in the kitchen, and I was afraid that I was going to clash against him, but I think we actually worked really well together. That was my only fear, and I think it panned out pretty quick.
It was pretty straightforward, which I think straight with a burger, which is a straightforward approach, sometimes is a little more daunting, because it's something that everybody has, experiences with a burger. So where do you take that? How do you make it different, or do you want to make it different? Do you want to go more of straightforward but make the best straightforward burger? So that was the initial challenge. But then number two, having a sous chef, which I thought was a great twist. You've got this beautiful facility here at ICC, so what a great opportunity for some of their students to get involved with this. So I thought that was a great way to utilize some of their students.
We worked pretty well together. We had the same kind of idea going together. We walked right in and we saw all of the colorful peppers and stuff, and I kind of immediately thought Southwest theme. So we kind of went from there, and it was challenging at first having somebody not able to help me whatsoever other than talking.
You're always going to be a hands-on person. It's a hands-on field, but it's definitely an advantage for me. Having 3 restaurants and delegation is definitely, it's survival for us, and I've got great people to delegate to. Right away, he and I had a game plan. We stuck to it, and worked out to our benefit.
It was just kind of a rough start, seeing that we'd never really even spoken until we got into the kitchen, so it was interesting, but he gave really good directions, and it was easy to work with him. It kind of calmed my nerves a little bit.
The chefs can now help the students, give them insight to what's going on, explain the flavor profiles, explain your vision, 30 minutes.
We can touch things.
How do you feel now, Chris?
A lot better, actually.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Nothing against her, it's just I like being able to touch things. Might get my hands a little dirty.
Feels good to get my hands unchained here. Good bison burger. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, what's more American than the great American hamburger? The great American peanut butter. For your last challenge, the mystery ingredient of peanut butter must be incorporated in the flavor profile of your burger. Any questions? You have 15 minutes. Tonight's judges are Meg Marshall, news anchor and host and producer of WMBD's Living Well. Chef Joy Ashwood from Illinois Central College Culinary Arts Program, North Campus. Troy Jones, food and wine connoisseur, known to travel the country and plan vacations around restaurants and chefs.
Salsa, chipotle.
Can I ask what the breading is for the Velveeta?
I would do standard breading. Actually, I'll let my sous chef explain.
With the rub mixture that we had for the burgers, which is a standard breading procedure.
Bison is pretty lean, so I wanted to incorporate something a little fatty in there for flavor, so I did a little bit of pork.
What did you find the most challenging part, Chris, about letting go of control the first half hour?
Allowing myself to take a step back and giving somebody else control of my dish. It was a little bit difficult explaining to her what I wanted to do, or where I wanted to go with things. So I just kind of did a step-by-step thing with it. So,
ladies and gentlemen, all the votes are in.